Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Knowledge is Power Podcast Live. And we're back on a Sunday, and I'm waiting on my guests to jump on in. It's so good to be back. We've been off a couple of weeks. We took taken off a couple of days, couple of weeks, and we are back at it again. And I'm waiting on my crew to come on, and my guests got a slow internet connection. Looks like. So I'm going to sit back and wait for them to come on in, and we'll start our new show. We've got some great guests coming up next. We've got, let's see, we have, Tick Price, Coach Tick Price. Tick Price was the basketball coach for the Lamar University Cardinals, and he has a new book coming out called The Locker Room. If I'm not mistaken, I got to make sure that I'm talking about the same thing. I've got the right title, but he's going to be excuse me. He's going to be our guest on next Sunday. Our guest tonight is James Eller Jr., who is going to be our guest tonight. We're going to talk about what it's like living in Beaumont, Texas, the pros and the cons. I mean, we always talk about all the bad things about going on in Beaumont, but it's time to talk about some light up stuff. Let's talk about some good stuff that you like living in, what you like about living here in Beaumont. So we're going to talk about the pros, and then we're going to talk about the cons. So my guest is here now, James. Hello, James. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Oh, good. Got some good connection now. And also we've got some listeners that's watching, and letting us know that we're here. Hey, buddy, who is the buddy? Yeah, I'll put your name there so I can see who it is. I like to call you to give you a shout out. And let's see here. Okay, that's somebody holler at you, James. Hey, James Eller. They must be on one of our pages, not on one of our group pages too. If you're on our group page, you must put your name there so we'll know who are making comments. I want to come to your show one day. Hey, I see one said, I like this. Wait, hold on, James. Let's see here. I want to come on your show one day. You sure can. I'm giving you that invitation right now. So let's get together after the show and let's exchange contact info. We get together. I would like you to come on. Okay. Yeah. Thank you guys for joining. Who else is another Facebook user? I don't know name this app. Just joining. So I'm gonna go to my phone, and I'm going to see who is all this talking to me. Oh, hey, Gayla Young. How are you? Yeah, good to see. Thank you. Now I know who I'm talking to. A big shout out to Gayla Young. She's joining us this evening. Tonight, we've got James Eller Jr. James, let me give you a little background. James ran for the city council at large seat in the last election. So James is very involved in what's going on in Beaumont, Texas. And he's got some good ideas and some bad, no, not bad ideas, but he's got some issues that he's facing with the city of Beaumont, and we're going to talk about that on our con side, not the pro side. So we're going to talk about the pro side. Right now, I'd like to say, it's nothing wrong living in Beaumont. It's just wow. I would like to say something, but let me just say this: it's nothing wrong with living in Beaumont. We have some of the best places to live here. We've got a river, we've got a major river, major college, we got a major interstate that runs straight through the city. We've got the big nature's the Port of Beaumont, one of the largest military shipment that comes out of there, and it is great. There's some good things about Beaumont. It's not too fast. It's not too slow. It's not too big. It's not too small. But we've got some issues, and we've got some issues that we need to talk about, discuss, and just maybe we can face the councils about it and see what we can do to help improve the town that we live in. We raising our children. As a matter of fact, I'm going to invite some of the school board, Beaumont Independent School Board board members on board on a show so we can talk about what's going on in BISD and what we can do and what they need help from us, what we can do to help them with a better school district. James, say hello, James.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Great, man. I don't know where's
Thank
my.
you for having.
I thank you for coming on board. I don't know what happened to my crew, but they're
Oh,
behind time. I don't know what's going on, but it's you and I. This is why I started 3 years ago, just doing this, and just I was the only host, so now I have two other co-hosts at a panel, and nobody showed up today.
mhm.
But that's
Yep.
okay. We're gonna talk about the city, what it's like living in Beaumont, and we're gonna talk about the pros, James. So tell us about the pros. What you think?
Well,
Let's talk about the
I
pros
mean,
of
hell,
Beaumont.
I've lived here 44 years. A couple of days ago, I was born on the 22nd. So 44 years now, right? So I'm not going nowhere. I love Beaumont. That's nothing to say that we have a whole bunch of negatives that we can change, but we're not changing. We're facing beautification of Beaumont instead of actually facing taking care of the infrastructure and things that we've already talked about plenty of times. But there's things that as citizens we've actually pointed out, and the council still, another term in, another new council now, is not addressing the basics. They're addressing more of just beautification, just making Beaumont live, bringing, attracting people. But if you're going to attract people into the city and it ends up that the city is going to be cluttered with a whole bunch of individuals and the infrastructure is not,
Hey Terry,
what are
welcome
we going
aboard.
to do?
Okay,
Right?
great. Yes.
Hey, what's going on?
I want to welcome. I want to welcome
Here.
Terry. We just getting started, Terry, and we're talking about what
Okay.
it's like to live in Beaumont. What it's like living in Beaumont. As I was getting ready to start this podcast, and I was thinking when I was sitting here, I said, "Wait a minute. We always talking about the negative of what's in Beaumont. Let's talk about the the positive, some of the positive things about living in Beaumont, the pros and the cons." So we're James. I just introduced James to the audience, and we're talking about some of the positive things of living in Beaumont. So, what are your thoughts of what's positive about living here in Beaumont?
That's going to take me a minute to think about it. I'm just being honest. You know,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
that's
there's a lot of apartments coming. For people that just kind of
Yeah.
starting out and looking for somewhere to live.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's that, and plus, like I say, AJ, he's bringing a lot of good things to Beaumont. So it's not all negative.
No, it's not.
No.
It's got
It's a
some
lot
it's
of
got
lot
some
of positive stuff.
a lot of positive, and
Yeah,
it takes
yeah.
positive people to make it to can create a positive environment. So
I get the I was gonna say I get the people
Yeah.
that sit there and sort of point me out as of I've been talking about things negatively. I haven't talked about things negatively. I've continued the same talk from the very beginning years ago till now. I'm addressing what we see and we're not covering it up. We're bringing it to light and letting individuals know we need it addressed instead of just being all positive. Let's throw up some murals on downtown. Beautiful. Let's make the parks, nice, beautiful. Let's throw up flowers annually and perennials whenever that pops up, all in the street mediums. Beautiful. But let's also address, like I say, let's address the real issues. Um, like I say, we don't have sidewalks that connect over railroad tracks when we then spend $326 or $29,000 on a sidewalk in the West End that nobody even uses. So, like, where's the thinking process? Why are we doing some of the things that we're doing? And if we're going to spend money on all this beautification, then that means that everything else is a-okay. And we don't have anything else to spend money on except beautification, in my opinion. So let's keep on addressing the negative and the positive to make sure that pushing out the negative, as a lot of people see it, is actually just informing individuals of things that really still need to be changed.
and we do have quite a bit of things that needs to be changed. And we're going to talk about the sidewalk issue later on in the podcast. But one thing I want to address that's as more important than anything is brown water, the brown
Yes.
water. So let's hit on that now because let me just say this: we do need beautification. We definitely need that, but there are lots of disparities that we have here in
And that's the
this
thing
town.
that's the
Right.
thing nobody wants you to talk about it, and they think since
Right.
you're talking about it that you're being negative, but some people don't
Right.
like when you're real with them about
Mm-hmm.
things.
Yeah.
It's not that,
Mm-hmm.
like, when I talk about stuff, it's not that I'm being negative. I mean, that
Mm.
should be looked upon as something positive. They'd be like, well, wow, he must really care that he's talking about things like
Exactly.
that so
Exactly.
passionately. So, but
Yeah.
when you're in charge of things, you look at that as something negative because you're scared that you're gonna be called out for what you're not
Mm-hmm.
doing.
Yep.
And
Yep.
hey, that you asked for that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not being negative, it's just being
Mm.
truthful. But you
Yep.
want everybody to say, shh, don't say nothing about this. We're gonna dress
Yep.
this pig, we're gonna dress this pig up, and it ain't gonna be a pig.
Yep.
It's gonna be something, it's gonna be a lamb.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yep.
don't do that. I'm sorry, I don't do that.
No.
But I do see some
No.
positives. I do. I
Mhm.
Yeah.
see some of the stuff that they do, but I also see some stuff they don't do.
Yeah.
It's in
Yeah.
other words,
Some
it's
of the
more.
most important
Mhm.
things are not being done while all the other things are making it look good. You know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying that's
Um,
more negative than as is positive. And when you're
I,
saying when you're stating things that is going wrong, that is wrong, that is not getting done, they look at you as the negative person. So okay, well, every time you say
Right.
something, it's
well,
about that's
well,
negative, negative. Let's put that on the side and let's address the issues. We
Right.
know we love living here. We like the city. We know what can be
mhm.
done. I mean, we can't do it
Yeah.
ourselves, but we
Right.
can
Right.
continue to advocate.
Oh, wait. No, Tony,
Yeah.
we can do it ourselves, but they won't allow us because, like I said, it was like maybe about 3 years ago. I had a hardware store lined up to provide $1,800 worth of material to put new seating over there at the softball, baseball fields. And Kyle Hayes and the current, the former council, and still to now the current council, none of them have said, okay, cool, let's run with that. I have the material. A hardware store wants to donate and volunteer work to get it done. But instead, I keep routinely checking up over there a couple of months here and there. And there's still loose boards that somebody can slip on, boards that are deteriorated enough where you can step on it and it'll break. We can have a lawsuit. Why aren't we allowing citizens to participate in the growth and the pride of the community? If they want us to talk positive about the community, let us act on the community, which is it's ridiculous.
Well, I understand that. But have you presented it to the city manager? Have you presented it to the council?
I brought it to the whole council. And they look at you stupid for the minutes, the 3 minutes. Let's get that correct, because in their whole hours of talking, you're allowed 3 minutes to tell them everything that happens in your life, everything that you bring to the table. You better narrow that down to 3 minutes for them. But you wait through their votes and everything else all day long. However, you come up and you try and tell them, hey, I got this. We can do this. I can bring this to the table. We can help out Beaumont free. Nah, they don't want to hear it. They don't even interact with you. I had councilmen tell me, going back to that sidewalk thing, tell me, keep me informed on it. I've written council. I've contacted the governor's office. I've contacted TxDOT. I've contacted BNSF. To try and get sidewalks across where babies, young mothers are bringing strollers with babies in them, pulling them over the railroad tracks. And I have a councilman that tells me, well, keep me in the loop on that. You're the councilman. I ran for your position, but you're telling me to keep you in the loop. Okay, that makes sense. And then when I write the full council and I tell all of them what they need to do and all they need to do,
well, let me ask you this question.
this is exactly what I got. Nothing.
Okay. Let me ask you this question. Have you you have presented it to the city council, city manager, right?
Yes. Yeah. Not
And
the new city manager. This is from the previous. Yeah.
Well, that's in the past. We're not going to talk about
Right.
Kyle Hayes. Yeah, Kyle Hayes' days is done.
Right.
He's kept us
Right.
20 years behind
Thank
time.
you, God.
Okay. So now
Thing about it
Right,
is,
right.
if you're
let's
talking
move
about,
Well, if I've informed,
if you're talking about
if I've
Kyle, you're talking
informed
about the same
council,
person.
Well,
yeah, yeah. If I inform,
Those
if
two are one and the same.
if
yeah,
I inform present council, and if present council knows about this, and they're the ones that actually told or tell or supposed to tell the city manager what they want and what they represent and what they want done for their constituents, and they're still not acting on it, we can't force the city manager to do something by his or herself if the city council won't even vote on it. So it's a lack again of the city council to sit on their rear ends and let's beautify Beaumont and bring in tourists to what? We don't have an infrastructure for people to even walk over the railroad track safely. We have Washington Boulevard where the actual plans of a sidewalk was drawn into the engineering plans was drawn into it, and it was drawn in uncompleted. And it's still years down the road of being done, and they still haven't put a sidewalk over it. They're actually breaking.
Well, give me a location of the sidewalk.
There's multiple sidewalks, but there's multiple sidewalks, but they're all in the minority community, so therefore the city council doesn't care about it. So there's Lucas, East Lucas at Hellbig. There's that goes directly from.
Wait a minute. Let's slow down. Slow down for me.
Uh-huh.
Let me keep I'm taking notes so that when I'm taking notes. So when I go up to the councilmen, I want to know exactly what I'm talking about, and I want to know exactly what I'm talking about, so we can get some of these issues solved. Okay. So we're talking about Lucas and Helsby Road, right?
Right on the corner, yes, sir.
Right,
in fact, right on the corner where
on the north side of that
the library,
no sidewalk, right? That's not a sidewalk.
No sidewalk. Right, probably 200 to 300 feet away from elderly community, but in between an elderly community, income-based community, and the library.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
So let me tell you the kick. Let me tell you the kicker on this. Alwyn Samuels, 30 years representative of, I guess, Ward 3. And that Hellbig is the actual street that he turns on to go home. Does he take East Lucas or does he take Magnolia? One way or another, he hits that corner and doesn't see, I guess, people walking over the tracks, dragging baby strollers over the tracks with a child in it, wheelchairs entering the roadway to bypass the railroad tracks because there's no sidewalk going over it. So I've contacted TxDOT, and TxDOT has a Title VI civil rights and also ADA. They have a civil rights department. Well, they're actually right now investigating Beaumont per me because the city of Beaumont borrows funds or receives funds from TxDOT to do projects. Therefore, they're out of compliance with ADA. That is the American Disability Act of, I think it was 64 or 67, and then redone amendment probably in 1987, I believe it was. And the civil rights, I believe that it's a issue with civil rights too, because it's only in the minority communities that these railroad tracks actually cross over and have a whole, well, not actually cross over. There's one over McLean over in the Amelia area, but the ones that don't have sidewalks that's constantly used, we can also throw in Amelia for the kids that go from Westbrook. They don't have a proper crossing area. But Washington Boulevard by Monica Brothers, there's sidewalks that lead up to railroad tracks and don't cross over. All it takes is concrete and planking. So they're out of compliance with ADA there. They're out of compliance at Sutherland and Washington over there where the, what is it, Coastal, used to be Coastal or Coastal Seafood is. Right. So they have sidewalks 20, almost 30 feet away from the railroad tracks, like they abruptly end in the dirt. You know, they have wheelchair access to dirt.
Right.
Makes a lot of sense, right? Now, this is Ward 4. And I know, you know, a lot of people here and there, and I was hoping that there was going to be a little bit more representation, being that Ward 4 ward member is now mayor, and that was what I was hoping for. But deal is I see that nothing has changed, and I've contacted the whole council. I haven't contacted one. I haven't said, hey, Mike Getz, can you look out for the Hispanic community, the minority community, the Black community, the Vietnamese community? No, I said, hey, council, So, whenever I pull out my guess, hey, my guess, if you're per this or if he's on the social justice in his synagogue, he's actually supposed to be in a synagogue social justice group. Where you at, social justice wise? You know what I'm saying? You care so much about the homeless. Where you at? Aldwin Samuels, you turn right here on Elbig, right at Lucas. Where you at? Why isn't there sidewalks there for 30 years? You know what I'm saying? People don't care about the minority community in Beaumont, and that takes up 3/4 of the Beaumont area. You look at a map that I drew out the people with a little bit more money here and there. Trust me, it's represented by a few, and that's how they want to keep it.
Well, now, but majority of these sidewalks that's not been built that goes across railroad tracks, they are all in the minority part of town.
Yes, except I say one over on Major Drive over there by the old HEB, where kids from Westbrook that walk into the Amelia area, which is not predominantly the West End, the rich area. You know what I'm saying? It's still a middle income. Terry, can I say that? Middle income housing area. I mean, mid income level house people.
If I can, I mean, like,
yeah.
I'm looking at the overall populace of the city, and Beaumont. Everywhere in Beaumont is what we would consider, or what's considered to be, minority class individuals. These people here, everywhere. It's not just one side of Beaumont, not North End, South End, Ward 1, Ward 2. We're all over. We are the populace.
Right.
I'm gonna say it again. We are the populace, and
right.
As I guess like as the president of the Charlton Pollard neighborhood, which is the South End, we're surrounded by every underpass in Beaumont. If you have an electrical wheelchair, oops, because you have to go through the underpass in order to get to the other side. If you just so happen to, if the underpasses are flooded, oops, only street you have to go across is Nature's. Like James said, I ride my bike down Main Street. I cannot cross over from my side of the South End over into downtown across the tracks, because there is, especially on Main Street, on Pearl Street, that's ended. The two of the highest streets, might I add, in this area for us to get out, not just wheelchairs, not bicycles, not sidewalks. I'm talking about preservation of human life, period.
Right.
So when James says ADA, American Disabilities Act, Citizens with Disabilities Act, hello, I'm a citizen with a disability. And if I just so if the city of Beaumont, TxDOT, railroad companies included, refuses and or restrict me and several other citizens that have a disability, again, we gonna pop y'all, the city of Beaumont, on y'all head with the nice hammer called lawsuit. Because again, you're restricting us, you're restricting citizens alone. Right. But then you're also restricting disabled citizens. Now, mind you, like I said, I live in the South End. I cannot literally walk to City Hall. I can, but people in my neighborhood cannot literally walk to City Hall safely. And again, like the only street that has covering over the train tracks to get out of my neighborhood is Nature Street. So,
to add to Chris's real quick.
We're also in reach with TxDOT. We're also in communications with Lone Star Legal. We're in communications with everybody that we possibly could think of, and we too have addressed this issue with the city of Beaumont, the state offices, railroad commissioner, anybody who is everybody that we could possibly think of. Because, like I said, if I got a bike, but for those that have an electrical wheelchair, And if y'all ever looked, those wheelchair wheels in the front are very small compared to the ones in the back.
Right.
And if y'all
They
ever
can't,
go on
they
the
can't get
railroad
over.
track in your car, you can damn sure see that gap between the railroad track and the next side of the railroad track is about this wide. So next thing you know, you're gonna see a resident, especially again, one with disabilities, trying to access the other side of the other side of the track. The liable parties are, and I'm gonna say it again, find out what railroad company those tracks belong to, because it's either Kansas City Railway, B&O Railway, who else? Union Pacific,
BNSF,
Southern Pacific. All those railways are out here and are deemed to allow us to have public access.
But I've contacted the railroad company, and I've contacted the Texas governor's office, and I've contacted TxDOT. It all falls on only the city of Beaumont and the council to actually expense to pay for planking and extensions. I got it in writing from everybody, and I've already posted it on my Beaumont, Texas information station, that it's only up to the city of Beaumont, current city council. All they have to do is inform the railroad that they want to add that to it, and the railroads will do it. That's it. But the city council and
that's what they say, James. We're at a whole different. We got a whole different council. Okay, I mean, we have been fighting. I would say we, and I say we because outside of this neighborhood association, I've been an advocate for the city of Beaumont since I came home from the army. This is and just think, if you can think about it, like you mentioned, out there by Pinchback and all those other streets that's like that's West Beaumont, especially like West College, those areas. Coming from Vincent Middle School, that area. When we petitioned for the quiet zone, they were supposed to put planking in. That was the agreement.
Okay.
Not only this little yellow rivet or whatnot to keep you from going all the way around. They were supposed to put planking. There was no planking put in, especially on the one on Major Drive.
Right.
It's nice and it's all flat, but you still restrict public access when you refuse to put the planking on the opposite, within the barrier of the track, the public access way. So it's not just based on the city of Beaumont government. It's based on the communication of the city of Beaumont government with every other entity you named, because whether we know it or not, these train tracks have wide right-of-ways, and those right-of-ways do not belong to the city of Beaumont.
Right. Well, no, that's what I say is I contacted TxDOT and the railroad company, and they have stated that all they need is the city of Beaumont to actually spend the money for the planking and the extension. However, the city of Beaumont hasn't even contacted the railroad company for that. The railroad company is actually ready to hear or ready to receive, because they have something going over here on East Lucas, supposedly to do with maybe the signal arms. I think maybe extending them, bringing them back some or something. But I've provided extra, extra like diagrams on where the sidewalks need to be placed, where there are sidewalks that go up to the railroad easement and then stop. But then, like I say, it's still up to, apparently, per the TxDOT and per the TxDOT representative over the civil rights, I think it's Miss Wanda, something like that. She said that she's going to be looking into it as of, like I say, the city of Beaumont receives funds, so they're supposed to adhere to the ADA, needs of, American Disabilities Act, or all the regulations, just like, on College around the curve, that one is ADA. And then further down, that crosses College near 4th, not 4th, going towards the park to the Imagination Station or Central Park, going towards the freeway, going towards I-10. That little particular part of the railroad that crosses has a sidewalk that goes behind the arms on both sides.
Yeah.
But like I say, those are also Texas. That's TxDOT. That's a thoroughfare, right? So Highway 90, TxDOT. So they have to adhere to the ADA regardless. City of Beaumont has built their engineering up to, and then after that added the ADA ramps to the dirt. But tell me if you've ever seen, I've walked it. I went out there and walked it over there on Washington. It's ridiculous. The slope on the dirt is ate away, the erosion over there and everything, rocks, debris. There's actually pipes from the city. There's sewer pipes that are missing caps, so you can put your foot straight through if you're a little kid. You can get stuck in one of them little holes and maybe break a leg or a knee or something like that. The city is not doing what they need to be doing. However, they're addressing beautification projects. I say if you're spending $80,000 to $100,000 or whatever the budget might be, I don't care about beautification. I care about making sure that the infrastructure is A1. That's what's going to bring somebody to Beaumont. It's not the flowers. We see the flowers. Tourists are not coming in here in droves like Terry brings out. The population was 118,000. Now it's 114,000. We're going to continue to lose behind beautification projects as long as we're not addressing our infrastructure.
I've addressed a couple of times. When I did not actually address it, I've talked to a couple of council members about sidewalks. When I say about sidewalks, I'm talking about in Ward 4, in the Beaumont United High School.
Yeah.
One of the largest high schools in Beaumont, Texas. There is not access to sidewalks in the front of it, other side of it, or on 4th Street, where the kids have to walk in the grass to get to school on one of the major thoroughfares. So, how can we put this all together and do one big presentation on having our city not just been beautified, but have access for the public safety?
Let me say this, Tony. I went and addressed something at City Council a while back. And it had everything to do with, the spending of CBDG funds, which is community block development grants, right? So like I had an issue with how they were spending this particular money. And I guess like the statement I made kind of rubbed one of our elected officials the wrong way. And the statement from them, or the question from them was imposed to at the time planning and zoning director, now interim city manager Chris Boom. The question was imposed to him as, what do we do with CBDG funds, community block development grants? And he was like, so like this curb and gutter and sidewalk that we put everywhere in the South End. And might I add, we do not have curb and gutter everywhere in the South End. I'm gonna say that we do not have, council person, we do not have curb and gutter all over in the South End. So being that you said that, we gonna want you and everybody else to make sure that we have curb and gutter and sidewalk throughout the entire South End. So those sidewalks can come about because especially through CBDG funds, community block development funds that can come through that. Mind you, we're about to go through budgeting. I don't know if y'all know, but I'm gonna be at City Council Tuesday because it's petitions that the citizens of this section of Ward 3 is in dire need of, including a safe, sufficient, and effective evacuation plan from back here. Again, like I said, when we have torrential downpours, every underpass around us flood. These alleged curbs and gutters that we have, they flood. And these are new incidents that residents are complaining about, especially since the incident of Harvey. Now everybody knows that our Urban Street underpass flood at a whim. We could go spit in that, Tony, Terry, James. We could go spit in that.
Wait a minute. Before you go any further and talking about the underpass on the Urban Street underpass, just before you get to Washington, it was designed to be a holding pond.
Hey, I
thought that's what that was. I thought that
be in collaboration with the text dot in the city.
Right.
Yeah. That
Pointing out that now I drive MLK every day, right? Headed back home. There still must be, which is going to be, City of Beaumont has the leak, which Chris has pointed out a few times. But it's going to be text dot to open up the roadway probably, or the City of Beaumont to open up the roadway, because what is it, Chris? Is it the sewer over there, or is it a drain that's leaking? Because they keep on just pouring asphalt on, like that's going to help out we have a dip, and it just progressively gets worse. All in the far left lane on MLK, right? If you hit that dip, you can look to the right and you can see that the underpass is directly under you. So what was it that fecal matter and everything drains and rains down like a waterfall every once in a while?
Yeah, no.
Isn't that it, Chris?
Every time it rains, you can bet it, like either side, and that's if we're leaving out of the south end, we'll be able to see shit falls, and if we're coming in, we'll be able to see shit falls.
Well, listen.
Yeah,
that's crazy. You at least got sidewalks underneath the underpass.
slippery when wet.
I will say, I think every underpass have sidewalks.
Right.
Yeah.
But the question is, can you access them from the street? No, you can't, because the curb is the curb sits up. Right. And there's no ramp or no slope.
Right.
So you gotta hope like hell. And even sidewalks, regular sidewalks, if you do have access to a sidewalk, most of the time you still have the regular curb and gutter rounded sidewalk where if you are in a chair, you have to boom, 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 and hope like hell you don't fall in one of those booms in your chair. Yeah. Or like I said, we have a community. I have a community who transportation is a bike. That's their main transportation.
Right.
So if we can't the City of Beaumont has approved or had approved. I don't know if they rolled that back, but they had approved that citizens could ride the bikes on the sidewalk. Now, according to the state of Texas, that's illegal. But the City of Beaumont says that you can ride your bikes on the sidewalk. There have not been any implementation since that move has been made in council. There's been no imitation saying that they were going to rectify public access when it comes to sidewalks. Now, I will say this also. 2002, I started attending city council. Several seniors at that time were addressing city council, all members of council, about sidewalks, especially in the north end, south end, or older areas where the trees have, got the sidewalk looking like a ramp for skateboards.
Yeah. We used them for jump ramps.
Yeah, the tree didn't wipe the sidewalk completely out, or it's just overgrown grass that's covered the sidewalk. Again, when this was 2002, 2003, when the citizens were asking for access to the public. Here it is, 2022, and the citizens are still begging this city government. I don't give a damn who elected. We are still asking this city government for sidewalks and access to public places. That's crazy. That is crazy.
I'll go on the record like I did before. I was for the AT&T purchase because I also thought that they had plans for it, and now supposedly they don't actually have plans for it. My guess was right on that as far as he states and as far as what they're stating now, because before there was supposedly drawn out, everything was planned out and whatever else. But just imagine what $5 million could have did for sidewalks if they actually invested in sidewalks. If they had $5 million, they probably still wouldn't do it, though. That's the point.
And even
you can't get them to get it, even if they say that they have $44 million in the bank. And I always say, well, it's good to brag about your money, but if you're not using it for anything, then why even talk about it, right?
Well, James,
it's a guy that...
James, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I thought you were much smarter than that. Let me get back. Let me. I thought you were much smarter than that. Let me get back with you.
Nope.
Right here. Hold on.
Nope.
I got to do this. Now, how can you be in favor of something, a project like that, without a plan? What was the plan?
Man, I saw pictures. I saw plans. Now, if they're saying they're going back on all that and they have, like, I was sold on drawings and everything else I've seen. I had talks with and everything. But now to say that they don't have any clue on come on, man. Give it back to Tom Flanagan. Let him go ahead and do something with it. Hell, take it. No. Look.
Let me tell you something.
Hold on. With two things. Hear me out. Two things.
Wait. Before you say that, wait a minute. Before you say that, let me just let the audience know what we're talking about. We were talking about sidewalks. We're still talking about sidewalks, but now we have jumped on another topic. 555 Main Street, the old AT&T building that the city purchased for how many dollars? How many millions of dollars?
$5 million.
Okay.
Right? $2 million, and then it's going to be estimated $5 million. We're locked in for that.
Okay, now guys, go ahead on.
So if we could get a buddy, if we can get him to get back with Tom, forfeit the building, get it back to him, get in. I'm for the battleship too, with the plans of if we can get the battleship in. Regardless, I would want the building gone if the battleship was there, or I would say keep the building there and knock out a section and remodify the building and keep the the battleship. Do all that, make a big old public.
Can I ask all three of you all something? Let me ask you all three of something. The battleship of Texas was parked and docked right there in Channelview, Texas, which is about 51 miles from here.
Right.
How many of you have visited the battleship of Texas?
Not me.
Haven't.
All right. And it passes right through the Interstate 10. You pass by, see it, it's right to your left, all right to your right coming out. How many times have you visit? Okay, now
but no,
wait a minute now. I'm going somewhere with this.
Right, I got you.
I heard a councilman say that he went to Alabama and there's a battleship there, and they visit so many times this battleship is visited.
Right.
But in that little town in Alabama, on the shores of Alabama, there are 4 casinos, hotels, tourism adventures, all kinds of things there. So if you got somewhere to tour, then hey, listen, that's the battleship. Let's go over there while we're over here. Well, in Beaumont, ain't shit down there but Nature's River and the bridge. So what's going to bring them there?
Well, I wouldn't use the boat as just the, hey, come see the boat, but being the location as where it is now, you actually have to exit off, go around, come back up to go see the boat. So it's like Highway 8, Highway this, Highway that to get to it. However, all those other USS Alabama, New Jersey, all those are pretty much directly off of I-10. Right. So that's the good part of having, even if it's not people passing through, if it's just schools, if it's, our communities near here, Chris. So like I say, that's the only reason. But as long as we don't have any kind of investment into it, and supposedly I've talked to Battleship Texas, and supposedly the only thing that we would be required to put up is a 10,000 square foot building. That's where my guest was talking about the AT&T building section used as part of their visitor center. And then after that, then they would need mooring, just the boat placement and the ramp too, and then that's it. But beyond that, everything else is actually provided by the state of Texas. So we don't take on any more debt besides the $10,000, like providing the structure for them to have a visitor center and to have a mooring placed in the ground right there at the riverside. But beyond that, we don't have any kind of obligation. We don't own anything to the boat. That's all we do is do that, and then everything else is left up to the boat. So, and that's state of Texas.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead. How many times you expected you to visit that boat? I just want to know how many times you're gonna go there. I tell you what, you're gonna every 3 months you're gonna go and visit. I'm gonna sell you. I'm gonna sell you my popcorn and my boot. I'm gonna have at the front gate. But I understand, James.
I want to say this.
Yeah, go ahead, Terry.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this, and where I live back here. I bet you it's about 400 or 500 people that don't care about a boat. They don't care about the AT&T building. That's about how many people can't flush their toilet when it rains. Yeah. They don't, like me, I don't care about a boat. Right. I don't care about a building. I don't care about no Mardi Gras. I don't care about none of that stuff. When you go flush your toilet when it rains and it come back towards your house, what Mardi Gras gonna do for me? What a sidewalk gonna do for me? What is any of that gonna do for me? And the 300 to 400 people back here that push that thing on their toilet and everything go down and not come back in their house.
But you didn't.
Wait. How long has this been going on? I mean, I've heard it many times. But I like to hear it one more time.
I was in my 40s, and I'm 61.
Yeah.
But
you don't know that they have this miracle device where it stops. It's that backflow. They're digging out the sewer lines and dropping in these boxes now. Do you know that's the miracle fix? Because every time they have a sewer issue, that's all the city of Beaumont goes and does is drops in a box for a backflow preventer that still backflows back into the damn house. Because they won't scope the lines. Right. They won't scope the lines with a camera. And another thing, probably with yours as well as other ones, like the one over there by Martin Elementary, where the two street pipes go down to a manhole, where that manhole always pops the top and the stuff flows out. There's a lift station that it goes off site. It goes offline all the time.
Everybody that have those things in their yard, they have them close to a manhole. I mean, that. Well, like I say, the everyone that I've seen that I've come to is a lift station that's supposed to take the water out away from there. The breaker or something trips on those lift stations. Therefore, all the sewer pops up and knocks the manhole covers or pushes the pressure back into the people's homes. The deal is why don't they have all these lift stations on some kind of generator to make sure that people's homes don't get flooded? Because the city of Beaumont takes no responsibility. They don't, but I'm saying if it wrecks your house, if it flows into your house and you have sewer throughout your whole house and it damages all your sheetrock and everything, the city of Beaumont has a waiver or something. One way or another, they take no responsibility legally. I know.
Yeah. Regardless, you're left up to it. So what they need to be doing is putting generators on these lift stations so whenever they never fail.
There is a citizen meeting May 22nd at Rogers Park. And that is the topic of that meeting is the brown water issues, the water department problems that we have here in Beaumont. So we'd like to invite everyone over on that date also. Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
We shouldn't have no brown water over here in the north end, at least in my area, for, I don't know, maybe 6 months at least. Hell, they left a water hydrant, a fire hydrant running for over a month. So I don't see why.
That's good.
Yeah, they cracked it open to do a street repair, and they left it running for a month. I let it run. I wanted to see how long they manage their own city.
Well,
I don't need to do the 311 and manage the city for them. If the councilman for this ward lives right down the street, if he can't pay attention to his own ward, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do it for him.
Well, when we
had an efficient water department, there were hydrants that would run randomly every month. That alleviated not only sediment in the lines, it also alleviated the smell, the funk that people get out of their hydrant. It also eliminated the color that we're starting to see. But you lost over 1,000 years of experience in the water department, the fuckery, excuse me, with the mess that Kyle Hayes had going on. So our life is in danger, Malik. And no certified individual at the water department currently can tell you what's really going on. What's going on, people? How y'all doing?
That's the mayor of the South End.
Right.
Hey, Chris, let me say this. I live on the West End, okay, and I live. I'll just go ahead and say where I do live. I have a home in Barrington Heights, and I am afraid to even get in. When I get in the tub or the shower, when I get in the shower, I can smell this odor in the water, and I don't know what it is. And it's like I can't describe to you what is that smell I smell in the water. So what I'm saying is that it's not just an issue in Amelia area, Orchard area, it's a citywide issue, and it cannot.
I think y'all are wrong. I think y'all are wrong. I don't think y'all smell anything or see anything.
Oh, really?
Oh no, James is hell right now.
Man, I smell it at my house. I smell it here, Tony.
The low water well been down for almost a month now, so.
That's where I thought it was coming from, because this area I thought it's a mixture in the north end, supposedly, where the water feeds from the river and the lobe, from both sides, and we get the mixture. And I had customers that had plumbing issues where they have heavy calcium. I call it calcium. It's white deposit sediments in their valves, right? Their stems and stuff. I thought it was just this area, but now with Tony saying it's way out in Barrington Heights too, maybe that's a feed or closer to the west end to the north get that mixture. Chris, how's that in the south end? Do you get odor the same way?
Yeah, the crazy part about it is for
he can't go nowhere without getting recognized.
like Tony said. It comes from the odor comes when we're taking a shower, comes when we're washing dishes, comes when we're sitting in the house. You smell fecal matter or some sewer type of funk,
like a sulfur, like all kind of oily smell.
Right.
Yeah. So a lot of people say that they feel even the odor in there.
On top of that, and then on top of that, you have the chemical makeup or the treatment chemical makeup that the city of Beaumont uses to treat your water. So you have all these different types of smells. Not to mention, if you go sit on your porch, because we in my neighborhood, we like to sit outside. Because we are not just a close-knit neighborhood, but we feel safe enough to sit on our porch and enjoy one another. So we'll have like moments of a funk that will come across the neighborhood. Hopefully you're not standing at the corner, because you'll find out where it comes from. It's coming from your storm drain. It's coming from, that's where that smell is coming from. It's coming from your storm drain in your house. The sewer drain in your house, and the storm drain from outside. The one that sits at the corner, the catch basin, that's supposed to catch storm drain water. For the life of me, I don't understand how storm drain places smells like sewer containment, or supposedly sewer containment.
Yeah. Well, I think in many areas, man, it's like a guy I know. I ran out there to what's that Plant Road? One of the roads. I think it's like Sioux or something like that off of Plant Road. Went to go look at a hole that the city of Beaumont had dug to replace a line, and they left it with the barricade up for I think it was 6 months to a year. They never fixed it, never filled the hole back in. The orange mesh barricade kept on falling into the hole. A lady then was ticketed because she couldn't mow her grass in the ditch because the water from that hole was keeping her whole ditch wet. They wanted to ticket her and give her a hard time. An elderly lady at that. That's the city of Beaumont. Come to welcome here. So it ends up that I went out there. I had called the city a few times, this and that. They finally went out there and placed that. But whenever I filled it in, I went and looked at across the street on the other side of that same street. There's a ditch, and I was looking at all the water was draining into like a crawfish hole. And I was like, well, there's no crawfish under there that's that thirsty, right? So ends up that there must have been that same sewer break on the other side had also been broken on this other side directly under the ditch. So they're cross-contaminating the storm drain with the sewer water. Hell, I went to go look at over at Martin, by that same Martin that water lift station. There's a sewer line. You can look in the manhole grate. I got pictures of it, and you can see a sewer line that's been punched through the storm drain. I've never seen a sewer line ran through another line. Beaumont is full of that stupidity, to say the least. On the water infrastructure on all levels, drainage and water supply.
Nobody on council wants to be the bad guy and go to these people and tell them they don't want to go to the people that's over that stuff and tell them, say, hey, we need to do this. Nobody has the guts to do that. That's everybody wants to be friends. Even us as citizens, it's not enough of us that go up there. It's not just them, it's us.
Yeah.
We got a few of us that go up there and say stuff, but a lot of us don't. We don't have the guts, and them up there don't have the guts to go even to the city manager or whoever over the ward and say, hey, you're not doing your job because this is happening.
Right.
It's not enough.
Nobody like this, man. Guts. If they're going to be so crucial of us, then why can't they be crucial of themselves? But we're always bowing our heads to them, and I don't do it no more. I tell them how it is. I'll cuss them out. I don't give a damn. But it doesn't matter to me, because the deal is if they're not doing their job, like an old cow, put it out to pasture if it ain't gonna milk, right? So deal is slaughter it, get it done, move it. Next election comes up, remove them, get somebody else in there. Y'all stop voting. I mean, just in general, everybody stop voting for the person that, they did a good job. Did it. And smiles the best. And, he's so positive. Man, remove them if they're not doing nothing.
Man, people don't even trust the count that came out.
But the biggest thing?
Yeah, let's not even go
there. The biggest
there.
thing I see is that we paying for water that we can't even drink and use.
What's
wrong
with
us? That's right. We can't even drink it. We can't even use it. What's wrong with us?
Every month that bill shows up, don't it?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go back.
But with them leaving fire hydrants running for months, our water should be free, right? Since they can run that valuable source that they're charging me for, they're running it down the drain. After a month down the road, after clearing the line, they close up all these other ones, and they're just running it because they forgot about it. Well, do we get our money back? Do we get a refund? Or can we at least stop cutting off older people's water and disabled people? Can we go ahead and give them free water at least, since we're running all this water because we're not maintaining the lines like we should be doing? If we're going to be wasting water, can we just give it away to the people that actually need the water? They can't pay for it.
But I really thought hard about that the other day. I'm like, when I seen the water bill, I'm like, wow, I haven't even drank no water. The only thing I do with it is wash my clothes.
Right.
Wow. That's something to think about, though.
That's it. Like Tony said, we paying for a service we can't even use.
No.
I mean, and like I said earlier, you have to take in count the treatment and everything else that's going on with the water that we're getting scooped. You know, that get your hand out of my pocket.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
Yeah,
get your hand out of my pocket. Now, I did have something to say about, you know what I'm saying, that whatever they're gonna do downtown. I am the adjacent neighborhood. I am the adjacent community to downtown Beaumont. And if we don't have sidewalks, you don't want us in downtown Beaumont.
Yeah. Yeah. I was about to tell you, Chris, stay in your area. That's what the railroad track with no sidewalks is. Stay in your area, okay? Don't you interrupt what they want done in their area of downtown, okay? Don't you dare cross those lines, those
good evening.
Those train tracks are lines for a reason.
Okay, y'all talking about this ship coming to downtown. I mean, like,
but Chris can't access it though. I understand. Yeah, so safely access that ship. I'm gonna go back. So you're still paying for it.
So I'm gonna go back to 555 Main Street. Why did we invest that much money in, and then we're gonna tear it down?
That's right.
And we couldn't use that money for sidewalks.
You could have. That building was built to withstand hurricanes at Category 7. You know, Category 7 hurricane. Now, if it's that unique, and AT&T knew, especially in the age of that for communication, that's the type of building that they would need at that river bank to withstand not just hurricanes, but all elements of natural disaster, including the firewall that's in there. I mean, y'all have to understand this building is very unique in its sense because, especially being in that particular place, because at the time of surveying, AT&T had no idea where they were going to put their split center, which is to go east, northeast, south, and west, coming from the Baton Rouge area. So that was their best. So I will say, as a developer, as well as one that brings in investments to the potential investments to the area, every investor I done spoke to, every investor that I know, they're saying, or developers that I know, construction companies even, they're saying they will do it, but they want to be able to do whatever, plans and redevelopments with the building, with access to that building. I don't agree with tearing the building down. I don't agree with demolishing the building, because I know that there is something that can be done with that building, whether it's a living center, whether it's a community meet place, whether it's an amusement center of some sort. But I will say, whatever you're going to do there, please don't, please make it attractive enough to drive people off of the interstate. Please make it attractive enough to bring us into the downtown area consistently. Because if not, all you did was purchase a building and that's it. And you're going to tear it down. Another thing, for a splash pad in downtown, almost every park in the city of Beaumont has a splash pad. Me personally, I think it's disgusting. I think it's nasty. I really think that type of entertainment is nasty. But that's not. I'm neither here nor there. But if you have splash pads in every section of the city of Beaumont, don't bring a splash pad into downtown Beaumont. That makes no sense. Any developer, whether he does urban development, whether they do, they will tell you don't do that. Especially how uniquely that 555 is set up on Main Street and has access to Pine Street and have access to, what's that? Fannin? Is that Fannin? I think that's Fannin Street. You have access
straight across from
all of downtown without restrictions. This is not on a one-way street like Willow or Park.
Right.
And again,
but that's the deal, though.
Whatever they do downtown, that was the deal. You don't have access for us as bounding neighbors, bounding residents. Even let's go to the real old town. The real old town that's on this side of MLK. The real old town also have no access across some of those same tracks. Calder, the one on Martin Luther King, the one that encompasses almost their entire neighborhood. Nobody has access to access over those tracks. So you
aren't those, Chris? Aren't those all city streets though? Also, I'm just pointing out because I know College, being a text dot, is the only state thoroughfare that connects to MLK that actually has the connecting sidewalks. Beyond that, everything City of Beaumont does is half-assed. It doesn't have what needs to be done, even by ADA standards. They don't do it, and they hope that people don't look at it, or people that they think are not worth it in minority communities. I don't care. The majority of the council right now should have changed all that. But the problem is it still exists, and it's sickening how it still is no answer to it, yet we're talking about other stuff. We're always addressing other things, and we're not addressing the basics. Why have a car with a screwed up engine if you're going to throw a $3,000 paint job on it? Address the engine first, correct? Or you can't go nowhere. Address the infrastructure, address everything underneath and on top, infrastructure-wise, for access to the people. And then after that, go ahead and beautify from that point on. Like, there's a whole lot of stuff that we're not doing that are necessities compared to BS, the stupidity type things that they're always trying to bring in this. Oh, let's bring in this new attraction. Let's go ahead and push this, push that. And it's just to celebrate it. What was that in Gladiator, the movie Gladiator, where they said Julius Caesar gave the Romans, 300 days or whatever of celebrations, and it's made to distract you. You're distracted now with all the foolery of, oh, look where we got beautiful more murals. We got events downtown, but they're still not addressing the basics, which is sad, man. None of them are getting up there proactively saying, hey, this is this. I saw in a commercial recently, a councilman say that some people have said that the North End has a food desert. The USDA says that Beaumont has 10 food deserts. If you look on the map,
it's on the government website.
That's what I'm saying.
Beaumont has several food deserts.
Right. So that type of stuff, that stuff right there pisses me off, to say that you're listing it like just a random somebody is saying, oh, Beaumont might have had a food desert in the North End. Aren't we glad that we now have a grocery store? No, the USDA says that Beaumont has 10 USDA qualified food deserts in Beaumont. And if you look at it, it's in the north, the east, and the south end of town, which, like I said before, the downtown area has lawyer firms that bring in millions of dollars in bankruptcies. It has ExxonMobil that produces millions of profits. It has the Port of Beaumont that brings in millions. We have the Lamar University that I would think would bring in millions. But this is one of the most undeveloped area, is the east and the south end of Beaumont. Why? Why is it the ones that bring in the money with the big corporations and whatnot not getting the same sponsorship from the city? It baffles me.
There's a population shift for that. They don't. There's the population has to be moved around for that in order for us.
Well, but I'm saying that they say that Ward 3 and 4. Oh, well, look, Magnolia got a new thing of asphalt, and what about the Washington project? But that's TxDOT. That's 50-50. That's not all city, and that was $38 million. It's not $100 million project. That was $38 million for Washington. So City of Beaumont is not investing.
That's not sufficient.
The same percentage.
Washington flood is insufficient because this flood.
Yes.
And
it has sidewalks that can't even cross a railroad.
Everything they do is to keep us quiet. It's to make us complacent, to accept, oh, look how lucky we are. We got a new store. So what?
Yeah.
And
that's why I say it's all dressing
water
it up.
map. They've done it with 311. Do you know if you go on 311 right now, you can't find a water complaint unless you're the one who made it and you go in through your email. Otherwise, it doesn't exist. But it keeps us quiet because we all think it's there.
They're supposed to hold records at least like for public works for like 10 years. I've requested all kind of different public works, and I normally get it, but then I get like a standstill whenever I got sidewalks. I'm looking for the sidewalks that run from Dallin Road all the way to Major Drive on both sides, on the Bering Heights side, and then on the FEMA flood district side. I'm looking for that information on that, and they, no, we don't have it. It was like just maybe 5 years back that it was done. So how is it that you don't have the records for a sidewalk on both sides, and the smaller sidewalk from Dallin in sections is smaller from Dallin to Daisy Lane, and it costs $326,000 or $29,000. You had to get a grant for that. Where's the money? How much did it cost? How long did it take for those two sidewalks that maybe joggers use? So joggers are using these sidewalks when they can jog in Barrington Heights neighborhood, compared to kids, elderly, wheelchair bound, mothers with baby strollers that need sidewalks across railroad tracks that are using them every single day, can't get 30 feet. Where's Aldwin Samuels for 30 years turning on that same street where there's no sidewalk at those railroad tracks? Where is Robin Mouton, where the sidewalks don't connect over Washington Boulevard to railroad tracks? When it was a Washington Boulevard TxDOT 50/50 plan to do it, why is it incomplete? Why is it not being done ADA regulation wise? And I can only file it for Title VI. I can only say it's a civil rights issue being Title VI, and that the Department of Justice needs to investigate.
Yeah, the biggest question to me
Department
is not really where are they? It's
where we at, because again, they are not restricting themselves. They are restricting us.
Yep.
We are the ones that are restricted. So if like you said, I know for sure on Washington Boulevard, the crossing is set. The crossing is ready, especially for TxDOT or whoever is supposed. Because I'm gonna say it again. There's an easement that's at the railroad that does not belong to the city.
Mm-hmm.
TxDOT is supposed to, after the city completed their section on Washington Boulevard, TxDOT was supposed to implement the continuance of the sidewalk plus the padding that goes over for public access.
TxDOT,
the railroad company. The particular
the railroad's supposed to lay it. But according to TxDOT, the city of Beaumont is supposed to fund right now. At least with this hill big, I know. But I'm not sure about the Washington. If who I talk to,
it's already paid for, is what I'm saying. The work, the scope of work that the city of Beaumont planned for Washington Boulevard included the railroad tracks and the easement of that railroad track. That track,
but they didn't include sidewalks even up to an easement.
Boulevard just got finished. I mean, complete access to public transit. All access of public transit, whether you on foot, you on a bike, you in a car, you on a roller coaster. You have access to Washington Boulevard. Not long after the eastbound side of Washington Boulevard was open, the railroad track caved in the middle. So is that the city's supposed to do that? Because again, without the railroad company doing what they are allegedly paid for, that never happened. As well as their routine maintenance and upkeep of all tracks that they own. So
the city oversees that. The city is supposed to keep the railroad in check. It's in the ordinances.
Yeah. Well, that's what I say is the city. The in the center, the wood logs or whatever, the tracks, the trellises, whatever, the railroad is responsible directly for that. Anything to the right or left past that point is the city's responsibility, because that's where sidewalks will go. They have to get the railroad to actually lay in, because they have to stop trains and whatever else. So they have to coordinate with. I've contacted the council, gave them all letters, like send them emails, every single one of them. And I've sent the city manager as well, included in a private, a different email to the city for questionnaires and whatnot. The city is not taking their part in what they are supposed to be doing. That's why they are being investigated right now, per the lady that I contacted, the head of the civil rights department in TxDOT. She is, started with her investigators here locally, that they're supposedly looking into it to find out what kind of violations are being done, because she's looked at the stuff on Google, scanned down for everything that I told her about. And I'll be contacting her. I was telling Tony I was going to contact her as soon as I could
be
before
wrong,
this.
Because it's been a minute since I looked at the ordinances, but the city is allowed to shut the railroad down if they don't do what the city says. Like, the city has to go in there and say, this isn't right, you got to fix this. And the railroad has so long to fix it. We're not doing that. We're not taking care of that.
Well, obviously not, because we still got trains that sit on the track that restrict access to emergency vehicles. So I don't know.
And they blow their horn at 3:30 in the morning. They're not supposed to do that either.
Correct. Isn't there a noise ordinance?
Yes, there is, and I've given that to council myself.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I never hear a horn over here. So
right. I was just about to say, now the one that's inside of the gate at the industries that I live around, now that one blows 3 to 4 minutes long.
I'm over here off of Laurel and Calder, and we hear it at 3:30 in the morning every morning.
Wow.
And it just blows, and it'll go for 20 minutes.
Wow.
I haven't heard a train horn over here in years.
Lucky
they'll block
wakes me up almost every damn day.
Lucky for you. Well, I think we hit on all the topics that we wanted to talk about. We still have more, but our time is limited. Let's go to our comment, and I've got one from one of yours, Chris, one of your neighbors in the south end. Excuse me. You like to read it? You can go for it.
So her comment says, from Cheryl Richardson Jackson. She's a real good neighbor of ours, as well as have an organization that's in this area as well that meets the need of the people. But she commented and said the South End needs attention. Odwin needs to come talk to the people he's supposed to be representing. No sidewalks for the children to walk to and from school, and that's Charlton Pollard Elementary and Martin Luther King. No community or resource center in this area. The water is funky. My concern is for my community who are being ignored and forgotten about. Murderers and school issues need to be addressed, and plans implemented for our children to have things to do during the summer. A food desert, and we are on life support over here. And I mean, like, I totally agree, especially with her with the life support, because we have 2 schools in the boundaries of our neighborhood association. We have every industry you could possibly think about in our neighborhood, and there's no advocacy when it comes to our elected officials. Even when it comes to like parks and recreations. I've communicated with Terry on an issue that has been plaguing this community park for 6 years. I want to say 6 years for sure, and it's the issue is getting worse. All I guess that they chose to do for the play area in the park was put a board over the deteriorated metal. Was
that the one you sent me, Chris?
Yeah.
That's what they did.
Very substandard.
Well, I'm gonna talk to them the next time I go to the meeting too. I'm gonna tell them.
As well as that wood chip that's down there, Terry. I mean, like, I don't know if they know, but that's nasty.
I'm gonna email them. I'm gonna email them in the morning, Chris.
It's a lot. I appreciate that, bro. It's a lot of issues that that we have in this particular community that I know we address all elected members of council. We address issues with TxDOT because we found out that, you know, some properties or responsibilities we thought were the city's, come to find out they're trying to, I guess I'll say they're trying to place blame on each other. You know what I'm saying? Well, no, you need to call this department with this entity, or no, you need to call this entity with that department. So I mean, like, and as persistent as most of the
Send me your email address. When I send it to them, I'm gonna include you in. I'm gonna include you in it. That way, you know, we'll know what they say.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I'll include you in the email.
Include me also. Copy me also.
Okay.
Terry, please.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But you know that there are several. There are like Cheryl said right now. There are several engagements that our members, because I'm gonna say it again. We vote for 4. I don't care if you went to the poll and didn't vote for Aldwin. He is your elected official. I don't care if you went to the poll and didn't vote for AJ. He's your elected official. I don't care if you went to the poll and didn't vote for Randy. He's your elected official. I don't care if you went to the poll and didn't vote for Robin. She is your elected. And when you address your elected, those are the 4 people that you have to address. If Aldwin, we bring an issue to Aldwin, we need to bring that same issue to AJ and to Randy, so that AJ, Randy, and Aldwin can collectively bring those issues to the agenda. Period.
Well, hey, but deal is,
and wait a minute, for those who are listening and watching, and would like to share this to our city councilman and mayor and those city managers, that part that you just spoke on, Chris, I want to give them a place that they can go to it if they want to fast forward to it. So you're going to go to 1 minute and 20.
Yeah,
1 hour, 1 hour and 20 minutes. Yeah, right. 1 minute, 19
minutes.
1 hour and 19 minutes. You go to that spot, that time, and you can hear exactly what we are saying, and
who you have to address.
Right.
And that's on every facet. That's on every facet. The issue that James is talking about, the situation with 555, the underpass, the public access that we have, the lack of public access that we have. And again, I don't just advocate because we have, you know, we ride bikes out here for enjoyment or entertainment. No, I advocate on these issues because I have senior citizens and individuals with disabilities that use an electrical chair, whether it's a hover round or whatever. They use an electrical chair to access anything on the other side of our underpasses. There is no inclined area or a leveled area for individuals to ride over and or move over safely without having to go down a steep underpass.
And just real quickly, I'm going to interject real quickly so that we can mark this time too, Tony. We are having a citizens meeting May 22nd at Rogers Park from 7:30 to 9:30. All council members are already aware. One has made any kind of acknowledgement of it. So if you're not aware, or if you're going to claim you're not aware as of right now you are aware. That meeting is happening. Where we go from there will be up to the citizens, but we are encouraging everybody to join and partake in it. Participate.
Two things regarding all council though. One thing is we can send them like we send 311, where we can actually email all the council by going to the Beaumont.gov website off the city of Beaumont and send them a notification that responds, like send them a notification. Hey, here's a record that now I'm writing all of y'all, letting you know in writing. They are getting this pushed to them. They are seeing it, even if they don't answer back one way or another. They are seeing the emails. That's one on that. Two, to add to Chris saying that Mouton, Randy, AJ, and Aldwin is the representatives for that area. It would be smart for the other representatives of the entire city every ward member, like I said before, if I ran for at large or if I ran for Ward 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, I still consider myself an at large individual, because just because my boundaries are in Ward 1, 2, 3, or 4, my heart is in the entire community of the city of Beaumont. Therefore, anytime someone calls me near Lamar or calls me during, near Tram Road or by Landis over in the West End or the Pine Street in the North End, one way or another, I will go to that individual, just like every council member, even in a ward, needs to hear what everyone is saying. Hey, I have an issue here. Because it doesn't, you being a Ward 1 or a Ward 2 or 3 or 4 ward member, you don't have to wait for that ward member to say, hey, man, I got a problem. Can you second me on this agenda? They can say, hey, there's a problem in Ward 3 and I'm a Ward 1 member. They need to bring up the topic that's affecting other areas of Beaumont. If that ward member is failing, like a lot of ward members are failing the community, and an at-large member I know for sure is definitely failing the hearts of Beaumont. All of those individuals on council need to hear that they all need to be at-large individuals, and they all need to listen to the entirety of the city, not just their wards. Yep. That's the problem.
We're not separate wards. We're the city of Beaumont.
Yeah, it's an Aldwin problem, or it's a Chris Durio problem, or where's that ward member at? Well, where is the other ward member from a whole different ward that has nothing to do with this ward with the problem? Where are they standing up for this ward that's not being served? Why don't they step on somebody's damn toe and do what they need to do for the citizens that still send tax money in to the city that they represent? They're not doing their jobs as a whole council if one area of Beaumont is failing.
It's not just a ward problem. It's an entire city problem. It affects all of us. All of it affects all of us.
To me, it's more of a us problem than it is a them problem, because it's more of us
and them needs to go.
Them.
Yeah.
And we
if them can't handle it, bye.
Right. The problem is all those politicians doing their politician thing, smiling, grinning, keeping things positive, Beaumont, while the city is crumbling all around. I want to make sure my constituents are happy so I can get voted back in. But as long as Beaumont votes for me, I'm good. But beyond that, Beaumont can go to hell, as far as a lot of the politicians are saying, because they're not proactively taking care of the entirety of Beaumont. It's not about one ward or the other ward. It's about the entirety. And the city council today is failing the city of Beaumont's constituents as a whole. But people will vote for them, guaranteed.
And that's guaranteed. Because of one good
Yeah, because of one good deed. He's so positive.
So badly that the one good thing that they do looks like it's a miracle and we should be so thankful and kissing feet. No.
Yeah, blowing balloons and celebrations every time they do one good thing, but they're screwing the city over every other time, though. It's an attaboy. Attaboy, you did great. But what the hell is going on for the whole city? They're not proactively. They've always been reactive. That's the problem. None of the council today even are proactive on going out and implementing change for the entire city. It's a reaction to a problem. None of them have come up with solutions. None of them. And I know they hear it. None of them.
Yep.
They are all going off of what they've seen somewhere else.
Because if I was a councilman, say over a ward, what I would do monthly, I would get, find some kind of building where I can invite anybody that's in my ward to come. Even at large, they can do that now. Find a building and you invite people to come into you and tell you what's going on.
I mean, I did it. I'm just a citizen.
It's not hard.
Didn't they already say that during the runoff? Whenever they, I mean, not the runoff, but during the run, that there was going to be townhome talks and all this other BS that ain't happening. Did you do you remember that there was going to be more evening meetings? For now, I work till 4:30 every day. I can't take off of work to go to a 1:30 or 1 o'clock meeting. Yeah. So it's the retired community that's able to go, and that's not a big That's not a big meeting pool. So they're not going to be informed on all the issues.
That's the ones that vote, the older ones.
Well, yeah, but every time on council,
make sure elections your election choices. So you can't. I look at it like this, y'all. Yeah, we have a lot of issues that are going on. Yeah, some of the issues that are going on currently have been going on, I know for sure, since 2002. If we haven't made, I guess, significant dents in what we thought or what we see as issues to us, then 9 times out of 10, the individuals that are elected are not giving you a plan, or you are not giving the elected individual a plan. The whole time that these individuals were running for our vote, nobody, hear me and hear me well, offered any of these individuals a plan. I'm talking about a plan from the people that they allegedly advocate and represent for. None of us collectively met before these elections, and said, this is the standard and synopsis and expectations, reachable expectations of the citizens of Beaumont, Ward 1, 2, 3, and 4. None of us have done that.
Well, that's about to happen.
I was about to say, Tricia has given us the opportunity to speak on that. I know for sure this neighborhood association has given several times the opportunity, whether it was from the internet or from a person-on-person perspective. We engage for sure in our elective process, as well as in reach out to those that that represent us as elected officials. Now, mind you, like I said, we have sent them a plan and what we plan to do for year 1, year 2 of their term. As far as the citywide perspective, we have not done that. So we cannot expect these individuals to take our issues and make it matter to them, because obviously it don't matter to us.
They look at us as individual voices instead of a collective.
We're going to change that. We're going to collectively get together, and we're going to make choices, and we're going to set plans, and we'll show it to them. And whether or not they follow should set the tone for the next election, because we, the citizens, do set the tone for our elected officials. And if we're not demanding accountability and we're not, trying to make things right, they're not going to either. Why would they? They got other things to do.
Correct.
The next election going to be crucial.
In other words, we're going to give them.
Going to be crucial.
Right. In other words, we're going to give them a roadmap.
That's right. We're going to start setting the tone.
Be a lot of different faces on council.
We're going to give them the plan and see if they can follow.
They need to take the lead there too. They need to take the lead. When they see that us citizens are doing it, they better start doing it themselves.
They're not. You're right. They're not the one to be elected for what we have. Because think about it, Beaumont. When have you ever? And I said, when have you ever been presented with a plan from the members of council as to where we're going? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 50-year plan. Have you been introduced to a 50-year plan? Right. So that's one of the issues. One of the issues right there. We can identify that right now. We don't know where the hell we going. And it doesn't matter who we elect. We, the citizens of Beaumont, don't know where the hell we are going. And we can't wait for an elected official to tell us where we're going. We also are the ones that dictate to the elected official on how to get us there.
At some point, somebody has to take a stance. Somebody has to stand up and say, nobody else is doing it, I'm going to do it. And you would think that leaders of the community, our elected officials who are there to lead us, would have done this already. Whether we've done it or not, they still have failed. So now we're going to do it.
I believe
Pay attention to who helps and who cares and who's a part of this, because that's what matters. These people who are not going to be a part of it cannot be in office anymore. They drag us down.
Even go by, I mean, that's a nice way to gauge it, but you can't even do that because some of them are only there for opportunities. And I'm not talking about opportunities.
Now that'll weed itself out, hopefully.
For their elected constituents, I'm talking about opportunities for themselves.
Well, that needs to be weeded out.
Well, but it is. I say this to an extent on that, it needs to be weeded out, but everything is going to look like golden and glorified every time that one of them pops up on a news station and glorifies what they've been doing. But deal is for the entirety of the city, we're still not in a position to brag about nothing because they're still not addressing the underlying issues. They're still just barely getting along with these little positive little, oh, look, we got some murals. Oh, look, we got an event. Oh, look, we got a new.
You got to
go addressing. It's not. Right. Look, let's say about the HEB thing. You know, we've talked about this a while back. So the grocery store now, we have La Marina. You know, I'm messing up the name. Forgive me. But we have a grocery store finally being able to come into the North End because HEB has a 55-year deed clause restricting a perfectly good building that the same owner of La Morenita probably has also looked into. I know AJ Turner had looked into the clause and the reason why HEB's building's just sitting there, and it's for a 55-year deed clause. So your child that's 10 years old will never see groceries in that building, which was the only area in the North End that was available for groceries if that deed, a piece of paper self-imposed by the HEB Corporation, if they would have removed a self-imposed deed clause, we could have had groceries here over 5 years ago, going on to 6 years, and maybe however long it will take for La Morenita to actually get started, right? To actually have groceries in there.
What the hell they were thinking?
Right. Well, what they were thinking, because I talked to the VP. I was talking to the VP of donations. The donations VP for HEB in corporate in San Antonio says that having a small grocery store in a community hurts a community. And this is comparable to having no grocery store because a smaller grocery store chain can't purchase the same amount of groceries like a big grocery store can. Therefore, they don't feel the need to remove a deed if a small grocery store is going to come in and hurt the community by not having the buying power. This is the head
before they even start.
Right. Remember, HEB moved in and killed the area with everybody going to them. So everybody else that was a small business grocery store moved out because they couldn't compete. And then when HEB then decided on having 2 stores instead of 3 stores, because there were other locations in Beaumont that did the same thing. One directly across from their location or right down the street from on 11th Street, South 11th, and the other directly across from another grocery store, which the West End has, I think, 7 or 8 grocery stores, while the other areas get to share 1 or 2 or possibly it's like 6 total with La Morenita from Tram Road all the way around East Texas Freeway, all the way down I-10 on the east side. I think that there's a total of maybe 5 to 6 all the way to Lamar to do whole half of the city compared to a cup. It's a cup from Highway 90 to East Texas going up to Lumberton. That's a cup right there. They have 7 or 8 grocery stores in that one cupped area that services the whole West End. But we have to share for the rest of Beaumont 6 grocery stores spread out. So in the areas that are lower income that have to walk or whatever else, it's only a mile away from your closest grocery store. You should be able to carry all your bags back, or do like Mike gets and say, oh, get a taxi, ride the bus, bring your groceries every time on your bus. If you need milk that morning and you need to go ahead and run out to the store, it's just a mile away from where I'm at right here. So you should be able to make it back before the kids have to hop on the bus to go ahead and go to school. They should be able to then, I guess, get the free meal at school because they can't eat at home because you just ran out of milk. So that, but HEB is cheaper version. Joe V's is actually owned by HEB, and I gave the corporation 3 examples. Like I asked her, I said, release the deed clause, have Joe V's come in, or do a partnership where a smaller chain that's technically going to hurt.
I agree with John LeBlanc. I agree with John LeBlanc. John LeBlanc is dead on. It has very little, and don't get me wrong, yes, we see the corporation that holds the deed, but it has very little to do with that corporation. It has everything to do with what the investors signed up for. And most of those investors were at that particular time elected and or appointed individuals. Some of these individuals are also owners in the masses of what's downtown. So again, I'm like, but HEB puts that corporation. It's bigger than what HEB says. It's also the contract that came into agreement with those individuals that purchased that brought HEB to that particular location, or that HEB to that location.
Was brought to Beaumont. HEB was brought to Beaumont by council at one point in time. A former council member that passed away.
There you go, John. That's who you address, John. Say that again, James. HEB was brought to Beaumont by who?
John V.
Oh, I say by a former council member that passed away.
Exactly.
He had said about that during the mayor run. But deal is HEB still holds that deed clause regardless. Like they do that Texas wide, so that's just not Beaumont only, but that's Texas wide. But a 55-year deed clause is.
We have to understand that behind HEB are investors, stockholders, people that.
I got you now. Yeah.
So those are the individuals that behind HEB
allow it.
Propose this particular property as well as that particular deed. Those they produce that wording, I guess, and that agreement to not do anything for 55 years.
Right, I got you on that. But my deal is also the city of Beaumont now owes the citizens 7 years of taxes because the city of Beaumont council at the time, whenever they invited HEB to just do the newer stores and shut down the 3 other stores, they gave them a $150,000 tax break, which would have covered their taxes for 6 years for just the 11th Street location by itself. It covers them for the city of Beaumont. You know how you get the different lists of Jefferson County, the school, city of Beaumont. It would cover that particular store, if I'm correct, 6 to 7 years of no taxes paid to the city of Beaumont per that one location. So while they're getting in all these taxes from sales and employment, whatever else, they're still not paying the 7 years in taxes for that location, at least at the same time that they're restricting another portion of Beaumont from having a grocery store and actually gaining more taxes. So they're hurting us in both areas. They're hurting us in a tax break, and then they're hurting us in a 55-year deed clause where that store is set here and had a 99-cent store shortly started in it for a year maybe, but it has sat empty, bringing in $20,000 total, I believe it was, for the $1 million property, or $800,000 property, something like that. I think it brought in $20,000 or $21,000 per that location to the city of Beaumont. However, what could a functioning, working, employed stores, shelf-stocked store do for us in a community compared to what it's doing now? It could probably bring in $150,000 in taxes just to Beaumont, not Jefferson County, not BISD, whatever else. HEB has implemented this through their investors or whoever it might be. However, it's still represented by the HEB Corporation, and it's not by their San Antonio location. It's just the realty location in Houston. So, I mean, I suggest everybody call and give your displeasement or boycott them altogether like I do. I drive past them. I don't even drive near them. They're located on the other side of town, and I used to drive to them. But regardless, I don't go to them any further. I don't spend a dime with HEB. But like I say, different things like that has been set up by the city of Beaumont.
You live in Beaumont?
Man, I shoot down the street.
No, hey,
I'll pay. I don't mind paying more, and I just run down the street.
You go to Kroger. I have HEB here, and I have Kroger, and I have another one there. So,
right.
Of course, where you know where I am, but that is what we say. Right on the other side of town, we don't have that.
Let me cut you off. Mm-hmm. Knowing your location, Tony, and knowing that deed clause affects all HEBs. Imagine from your location. I know you got Kroger's down the street, and you got Walmart down that way, and then you got Market Basket further away, right? Yeah. But imagine if you had to wake up every day, leave your home, and go to business, go to work, and see that HEB closed down, and how huge it is. And let's say that 55-year deed clause restricted. What could that place ever be? And would you be happy that thing sat?
Oh, I know. That's why I mentioned that. I mean, it's just
right.
It's catered to this area,
right?
But every area in the city has a desert.
Yeah,
and it's we're not being representative. We haven't been represented right in our wards.
Right. Regardless of regardless if we live in a desert, but the poverty rate in Beaumont. If you line up 5 people, 3 of them going to be underprivileged in some kind of way. Yeah. So it doesn't matter if you have a store or not, but you got to find somebody that can create some jobs, so we can get that kind of stuff back in the city. I mean, I applaud people. Like if you get any kind of award or anything like that, I applaud that because that's good. But I give praise to people that bring jobs to a city. Nobody has brought a job here that employs 200 to 300 people on an annual basis for more than 5 years. You find me somebody that could do that, I'll heap bunches of praise on them. But where is that person at?
Right.
We haven't elected that person yet. We haven't elected. It may be one of us, but will we be given a chance to prove that? I doubt it, because we're not that person. One of us have that idea what it would take to bring a place here that employs 300 to 500 people on a yearly basis.
The city of Beaumont could do that by itself, especially by doing what it's supposed to do.
Exactly. But we gotta make them do it, since they're not just gonna do it.
Speaking about employment, and then some Chris saying City of Beaumont. What about I've worked in the St. Croix Virgin Islands at the plant, right? And every time that they did a turnaround, just like any other ones, they would hire temporary workers. What if we hired, as the City of Beaumont, temporary workers spot on when we get a little extra funds here and there? If we use temporary workers to do some of these projects, like work on curbing to add in sidewalks, to do this, to do that, at the same time implement technical schools or trade schools that would show our individuals that are unemployed.
Boy, I almost hung up. I almost hung up. Especially when it comes to knowing that trade. You know what I'm saying? I remember when the City of Beaumont used to do summer jobs. And like you said, temp jobs is employment. So if you could temporarily employ me, I totally agree. But if you give me a sustaining job, especially with the City of Beaumont, and I get benefits, this, that, and the other, I mean, if you can find me a sustaining job, all the City of Beaumont, like you said, have to do is create or bolster their already existing departments. That's
public, what I was getting at,
public service department, they need to branch that off into other, I guess, like sub departments, so that there is a sidewalk department, there is a curbing department, there's a ditching department. So I mean, and like you said, get these Go to some of these temp agencies, hire some of these individuals part-time or whatever.
Right. Well, but here's the two things
done by the city of Beaumont to say that they have an unemployment rate like they have. It is too much work. It's too much work to be done in in BISD to say that the employment rate is where it is.
Right.
And
well, that's what I'm talking about.
Everybody's trying to work in petrochemical or in the industries. I totally understand that. I'm a man of non-manual labor. I don't like manual labor. I don't like manual labor. I don't mind dictating and delegating information and to other people. But we have to understand that there's that population of individuals that are here. Right. Same goes, Right. Another thing that the city of Beaumont should be doing is creating these incubators for, we have identified the issue of a food desert. For the city of Beaumont to build a place, a padded site area in an empowerment zone, the city would generate, man, come on, y'all know the city already leasing all kinds of stuff as it is.
Right.
So if the city was to provide some of these rich opportunities that's posted on a lot of these water towers out here, then that opportunity would be, I guess, visible and reachable and obtainable to some of the people. It's like Terry said, let somebody come out here and do a business that won't get shunned, by the way, because Diadem Enterprise is a 16-year-old business created in Beaumont, Texas. Well, 17 years old as of March 15th, created in Beaumont, Texas. I can tell you how many times Diadem Enterprise have consulted for the city of Beaumont. 0. I can tell you how many times Diadem Enterprise have brought issues to the city of Beaumont. Several. I can tell you how many times Diadem Enterprise have brought investors and developmental projects to the city of Beaumont. Several. I can tell you how many got approved by the city of Beaumont. None. And the reason none of them were approved by the city of Beaumont is because this little black boy that ran against the establishment and their elites was the same individual that's presenting these proposals and propositions and avenues to bring a greater Beaumont. Period.
Hey,
and that's not just on a business side. That's on a residential side as well. Because what we may not understand is that our population may be stagnant, but it's still growing. And those individuals that do not fill out census and do not have a permanent address, or those individuals that do not have a job, and they're out there, they're going out there every day. They're 18 plus years old, going out there every day trying to find a means to an end. And if they slinging dope on the corner, selling themselves on the corner, peddling on the corner, they're going to find a way to make an ends meet. Period. The city of Beaumont is not providing that. And neither are we.
If the city of Beaumont trained individuals and used them as temporary labor,
but that's the
knowledge
thing,
doesn't go away.
Remember, and not to cut you off, I remember going to city council. And a member of the interior, not the manager, well, the manager sided with it. So a member of the interior at the time, and this was a while ago. So Councilwoman Gethro Wright was still represented. So the issue came up from the interior that we hire these people, we train these people, we certify these people, and then these people leave to go seek employment elsewhere.
It doesn't go away, right?
I mean, like they say that the people go to seek employment.
That trade doesn't go away. So once you learn a trade,
right? But
you have a trade all your life, right?
Problem, so I guess like the city of Beaumont's problem is that they're training individuals that they can't keep. And one of the main reasons you can't keep these individuals is because of the practices that your department head allows within these departments.
I'm not even talking about regular employment, though. I'm saying when we have these projects, we always have companies that then bid in as contractors. Therefore, our money is going out of town when we could be hiring temporary workers to do a job here at Beaumont, and we can use them as temporary city employees, where we can use them for the extra jobs to go ahead and do sidewalk projects or whatever else. We could just temporarily hire on labor, right? So we can get some of these things done. Doesn't mean we have to keep them forever, but they still have that trade. So when a job opens back up that we need more sidewalks or whatever project here and there, we can always bid for that again, right? Or we can even hire those same individuals back on to do the temporary work, correct?
I mean, like, yeah, I see what you're saying as far as like outsourcing instead of, well, not outsourcing, but making available the temporary services or the temporary employment for this particular project, an earmarked project.
And then there was
a project that has a dollar amount plus a destination. That, like you said,
then the same
in this particular area or curb and gutter in this particular area. I understand that.
Right.
But
the same individuals now can take that whole training to Mason or some of these contract companies that open up that need more workers. Now they go in as trained, skilled labor where they can also get the job and hold the job. And then if they don't have that job, then they can come back out and they can help the city out with temporary jobs.
James, that's the problem.
There y'all go. There y'all go. Having city council meeting online.
The problem is the interior.
You're gonna fix everything.
Right. The problem is the interior don't want to train and certify these individuals to go anywhere else. They want to train and hold these individuals in house.
God forbid we just better people, you know.
Let me ask y'all this, and I'll sort of look at it like this. If you're let's say if you're a defense attorney in a failing ward, that then crime is committed more and increased individuals that need representation as a defense attorney. Got where I'm going? So you stay in office. Do you want your area to grow? Or do you want it to be a slum? And do you want it to have individuals that need defense attorneys? So then you want to get hired on as a defense attorney? Because I've noticed one person that's been the defense attorney for a lot of real deal criminal individuals that have been caught repeatedly, and yet they come from the same area. So are you actually growing your customer base? Or are you trying to grow your community?
James said it.
As a ward member.
You're right.
Hey, I don't know, but I'm thinking about running for Ward 3. I'm just saying, because I don't like how it is.
Our time is up.
So
our time is up.
I'm just saying.
That's good talk, but damn, you can't fix it here online. We got to be proactive.
We got to show up at City Hall or at City Council.
Yes.
Well, but they ain't listening. What we need to do is like Teresa said, and get that community collaboration of all of us on an email and a petition that you represent us as a whole. Because us going to them one-on-one is not happening. They're not listening, and they think that we're not talking. And when we do talk, everybody else thinks that, it's all negative. We're actually making the moves while the other individuals are talking about we're negative. We're making things happen more than council is. Because council ain't thinking.
I have no hidden agenda. There's nothing I gain from anything that I do. I'm not running for any council. I'm not running for nothing. I am just a citizen who is sick and tired of watching other citizens suffer. So I'm begging for everybody's sake. Everybody come out to the meeting May 22nd. Let's get together as a community and demand what we deserve and quit accepting the bullcrap that we are given as a means to keep us quiet. We are better than that. This is Beaumont. Let's stand up for our home.
I'm pretty sure that this podcast will reach them sometime in the next 48 hours. And
one way or another, they hear everything that I tell them.
But, guys, I need you guys to get in touch with me. Get in touch with me tomorrow, Terrence, and copy me on that email. and out so that we can go Tuesday being prepared on what we're going to address the council. Okay.
Yes, sir.
With that said,
all right.
That's a wrap for this evening. We'll see you next Sunday with join us next
Appreciate
Sunday podcast for our guest, former Lamar University men's basketball coach, Tick Price. We're going to chop it up with his new book that he is releasing called Locker Room Talk. So we're going to talk a little bit of locker room talk, Terry. So I'd like to make sure you hear you guys here, and we're going to go at it. But James, I'd like to thank you again, James, for that was a great talk, good talk, and we're going to bring you back again because this is an ongoing
conversation. Yeah,
conversation.
Man.
Okay,
yes,
so this is an ongoing conversation, and we keep beating and keep beating, and that door gonna open.
Thank you, James.
So kick it down. He already know.
Right. So we're gonna keep going on with this. So that looks like you're gonna be a guest quite often until we get what we want out of the city councils.
Thank you.
Okay.
Like Teresa said, it's no hidden agenda though. No, it's actually stuff that we need done. It's not it's not an option. Right. It's a need. This is not I want leather seats. No, it's I need this. It's not an option any further. Get it done or get the hell out of the council. Okay. I'm tired of every one of them that don't do their goddamn job. Plain and simple.
One of them did like
that's what we need.
One of them did like the fact that I was on TV talking about them last week. So
what was them?
Yeah.
Tell them to call me.
Maybe we need to invite them. Maybe we need to invite them.
They don't want the heat. They don't want the heat, Tony. They don't want the heat, Tony.
I think too that have already been invited.
I'm giving them an open invitation. They know how to reach me.
They ain't ready. They will never be ready to be in the position that they hold. They will never be ready to be representatives of Beaumont like they should be, not as ward members, but the entirety of the city. That's where they're failing us. They're failing the city.
Maybe 3.
No, you won't even get that because I invited the 2 you're thinking of, and ain't neither one of them been on.
For real?
For real.
So
multiple times.
Well,
I'm
gonna make an excuse.
They don't want the heat. They don't want the heat.
Well, the one I could see trying to make an excuse for. The other one, there ain't no excuse.
Yeah.
But you know why they won't come on? No, seriously. You know why they won't come on? Because
they don't have.
I ain't gonna say all of them, but some of them don't know no more than what we know.
Okay.
They can't come on and answer. They can't come on and answer a question that they don't know nothing about. Because one of them was at our community meeting in Amelia, and when some of the stuff we brought up to him, he didn't have a clue what we was talking about.
Yeah, but that one, I think that he's really good at acting like he don't know. But he does that a lot.
And that's I think that's why the one that tipped in and tipped out of our meeting tipped in and tipped out because they knew it was gonna be hot up in there.
They didn't have a clue.
Especially with them in there.
Yep. And I bet I know who it was too.
We did have 2 others that attended and stayed at our association meeting. Also, not only did they stay after the long extended city council meeting, executive session that they had, they also rendered information to people, to the residents. So, like I said, I would expect maybe 2, and not these particular. One of the 2 I know for sure would come. I think would come, and then the other we'll have an excuse.
Well, you know that. Yeah, we have that, but you know it takes about 2 years to learn that job.
I don't believe that.
I don't believe that.
I beg to differ. I beg to differ.
I believe if you go into it, you should have known it before you went into it. You should be learning the way. They're learning the way they want it done. They're learning the way that the elite individuals want it to be done.
If you don't know what's going on, sit down and don't even run because that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
You are not familiar of what of the processes and the if you're not familiar with what's going on, you shouldn't have ran in the first.
Thank you.
Man, I stepped this.
Don't take this. Don't take this. It's rather you are long, old or young, new or old to this process. Don't take a training session on lives of individuals that means something. We are living. This is, to me, my elected officials are just as important as what's going on right now in Ukraine. There you go.
Yeah.
Especially my local elected individuals.
Because this is home.
You can help me avoid what's going on in Ukraine right now.
Yep.
And that to me, that's like the furthest extent of the mind. You understand? Like chaos breaking out in your city. And it's not racial chaos, it's just freaking chaos.
Right.
And that's my biggest fear as one, a citizen of America, two, a veteran of this country. That's my biggest fear, is just widespread chaos. And if my elected officials cannot assure me that you can't curtail something small as a food freaking desert or a sewer and shit water running into an underpass, you damn sure can't sustain my life.
Right.
That's my whole take on all of these elected, whether it's city, county, state, or federal. If you can't prevent and or protect me, and I'm not talking about imposing my civil liberties, because that shit get on my nerves. But if you can't outright protect me under the law, then you are, and on top of that, you tried to restrict access to me. If you are elected, I'm coming against you. If you are seeking office, I'm coming against you.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a better plan for Mardi Gras than it is to stop sewage from coming into your house.
That's what I'm trying to
say. A lot better plan for Mardi Gras.
That's sad. So, we can plan a party, but we can't protect the people coming to it.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll promote
you can't get people
we won't
to
promote
it.
a plan to fix an issue.
You can't get people to it from the Charlton Parlor area. You can't get them safely to the Mardi Gras area, but your taxes will support it, though.
Yeah.
Your taxes in the Charlton Parlor community will support the Mardi Gras, even though you can't cross those tracks.
Right.
Think about it. This isn't just a couple of people who need more support. This is people who don't know what they're doing. Period.
Right. Right.
Well, guys, I'll meet you there on Tuesday. I'll be back in town. I'll be back in Beaumont on Tuesday morning. So I'll meet you guys there on Tuesday at 1:30 at City Council downtown. Terry and Chris, guys, get that to me so we can put it together. So if we're going to speak, we can speak that 3 minutes, and I can come behind you, do another 3 minutes, and we can keep it going. Okay?
Absolutely.
We saw the people that work. So I won't make it.
Down.
I'll be there.
Yeah, I won't be there. We saw the people at work. So
okay, I understand.
We'll still communicate.
They keep us quiet.
All right, guys.
They keep us quiet with day meetings.
All right, don't forget, guys. I'm gonna be looking for it. Okay.
All right.
And I feel like calling me or text me. Do that. Yeah, all right, everyone. I thank everyone here that joined me. I'm so glad that we had really been off the podcast for a couple of weeks. I've got suspended by Facebook and for about 60 days, and somehow, some way,
you got reported, man.
And one day I just happened to open it up, and there we were. Okay, I said, okay, I know what to do. I know what to do from here. I can open this up and get us back on here. So we're back, and hope we'll continue to stay consistent so we can get our message out. Again, join me next Sunday and my crew, everyone here with Coach Tick Price. All right, next Sunday at 7 o'clock, right here on Knowledge is Power Podcast Live. We had a great time tonight, and I really enjoyed the talk. This is a 2 hour and 10 minutes podcast, so it'll give you time to drive in to work, listen to it, wherever you may be, because we're on Spotify, we're on Google, we're on every platform that is social media, so you can't miss us, especially YouTube. If you're on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button, please, and subscribe to us. Knowledge and Power Podcast Live. We're live, and we thank you, everyone, and join us, and we'll see you the next time. God bless. Love you guys.
Thank you for watching Knowledge is Power Podcast Live. Be sure to like and subscribe to all Knowledge is Power social media pages.